KMIR News Update, Decision 2016. Brought to you by General Air Conditioning and Plumbing and the law offices of Jeffrey A. Weaver.
Good evening. I'm Gina Lamont here at the KMIR News Decision 2016 coverage desk. Lots going on. The polls are about to close in 5 minutes here in California. We will begin to get some numbers the next time we join you at the bottom of the hour. In the meantime, we're continuing to follow all of our local races closely. We've got our KMIR News political analyst Hank Plant with us tonight. Hank, it appears to be shaping up to be a bit of a stunning evening.
Absolutely. This is not the race that the pundits predicted on either side, and Florida is really what made a big difference, I think. Everybody was saying that if Hillary Clinton won Florida early, the race would be over early. Well, that does not appear to have been the case. Now it's a real nail-biter. Yeah. And it's going to be a long evening.
It could be, but we are looking at Michigan.
Yes.
And that blue wall that the Democrats have had for years in the northern plains and into what they call the Rust Belt.
My home state, and it appears that turnout was low in Detroit, African-American voters. It was low in Flint, African-American voters mostly. Yeah, Michigan could be a problem. Yeah, for Clinton. Yeah.
Right. Either way, it doesn't look like anybody's going to have anything near a mandate going in, whether it's Trump or Clinton at this point. Certainly no mandate.
I think that's a really good point, Gino, because we already know that from this really acrimonious year, that this is a polarized country, and we're going to come out of this election being very polarized also. There won't be a clear winner. There won't be a definitive winner, whichever one wins this. There are going to be problems.
So what do they do to govern going forward when you go in with 272 or 275 electoral votes? You squeezed out a victory, yeah, but you've got no mandate.
You've got to hope that they do what's best for the country rather than just go head-to-head for the next 4 years. You've got to hope that somebody blinks and tries to do what's best for the country.
All right, let's talk about some of the Senate races. Yeah. What was thought to be a pretty good chance for the Democrats to take over the Senate now looks like the power is likely to stay on the Republican side, though it is still early.
Yeah, it is, and also Republicans have definitely kept the House. That's not changing. So Nancy Pelosi, our Californian Nancy Pelosi, her dreams of becoming Speaker again, gone. Right. So, yeah.
So it looks like that'll stay the same. The House will stay the same. It looks like the Senate may well stay the same as well. As far as our local races, again, numbers will just begin to come in about 3 minutes, and we'll have some for you at the bottom of this hour.
It shows you what a bubble California is, too, because Hillary Clinton was up in the polls by 20 points in California. I mean, that's not what's happening in the rest of America. But it just shows you what a bubble we are here in this Golden State, yeah.
All right, let's talk about some of the measures. We've been talking about them all night long. A fairly liberal, if you will, or progressive anyways, as far as the props. And the chances of a lot of them passing look fairly good.
Basically, California, if you believe the polls, is on its way to legalizing marijuana for recreational use, raising the cigarette tax, increasing our already tough gun control laws, and freeing more nonviolent offenders. So yeah, it is definitely a left-of-center agenda.
Yeah, and let's talk about the gun rights, or actually the gun restrictions, which is not really guns so much as ammunition.
That's right.
And also background checks. Is this sort of a sneaky way to get in background checks now for ammunition so that down the road they can do it for guns?
Well, who knows? I mean, I guess the NRA would say that. I mean, they don't like any kind of crack in the movement at all. But yeah, this is something that Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom pushed hard for. It is about regulating ammo rather than guns. It was way ahead in the polls, and you and I have talked about this before. What's interesting about that is it's extremely popular in minority communities. They want these controls on ammo and on guns.
All right, and marijuana, the last thing we'll look at in this particular news update. The early numbers fairly significant in that it looks like we're going to legalize recreational marijuana.
Yes, and in effect, we already have done that. This is a case of the laws catching up with public opinion. There's not a single person in prison in California for simple possession of marijuana, according to the State Department of Corrections.
All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll be back here in 30 minutes.